Israel and Hamas, this war, and then
You
Russia
know,
and Ukraine. Uh,
sure. You talked about this. You said that 2024 is coming. So I'm going to give you a projection for
yes.
2050 or 2047, Amrit Khan. Well, the Russia-Ukraine war, people will be saying, well, another few years it'll finish. I'm talking about what they'll be saying in 2047. It's been going on for so long. This fellow wins, that fellow wins. And then that chap who used to work in a circus, I think, or a stand-up comic or something, claims to be the president.
Zelensky.
That's right. Claims to be the president of Ukraine. Just gone to Washington and he begged for money and he cried and he screamed. This is a person beginning to believe his own fantasy. That can be very dangerous. That's delusional. Where people tell you you're a tiger, and he used to show his muscles like this the first time he spoke to the U.S. Congress. Everybody said, the British fellows, the French fellows, here, there, hey, you're a real tiger. He said, oh, I'm a real tiger. And then the tiger suddenly discovered that he has nothing tiger-like about him. So he went off this time to beg the Americans for money. The Americans said, "Sorry, we are solving the border issue. Nothing for you." And then the European Union said, "We are going to give you 50 billion or whatever." Hungary said, "Nothing doing. You guys have a lot of trouble. Give me the money. You owe me a lot of money." So that is gone. Then one of his generals who had accompanied him said that we are in deep trouble. And another general I read, he says, we are running out of ammunition. So we are scaling down our operation. So the counter-offensive has actually become a counter-defensive because now the Russians are on cloud nine. They're saying, we're going to clobber you. And then one of their people admitted, he said, we can't match Russia's resources and Russia's manpower strength. So we have to look for technological superiority. Happy birthday. Do you think the West is going to give you the secrets of making their weapons and so on? These fellows are delusional. I've seen this happen. I saw this in 1971 during the Indo-Pakistan War. That war lasted only 13 days, but on the very last day, their then president was some alcoholic fellow called Yahya Khan, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
was the character's name. Yahya Khan, yeah. To drink a lot of and run around his house not wearing his
oh
clothes. A
wow.
funny character. And then he was making a speech to his people. And he was saying something, we are winning the war. And my forces will march into New Delhi. And I want to. This is delusional. We are winning the war. I mean, your chap had surrendered over there in Dhaka,
Correct.
and you're talking about winning the war. So we have these jokers from time to time where you become to believe in your own fantasies. That's very dangerous for a
Mhm.
political leader, for any leader. When people say that you are great and if you start taking them seriously, no, 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 no. Mrs. Gandhi called for elections. She was going through a difficult time. We had the emergency, etc., etc. And she lost the election, which was a brave move. People can criticize her, but in that you can't fault her. She said, all right, let's have the election. She lost, then she came back, whatever. But when you begin to believe what others tell you, because very often, ma'am, leaders are in an echo chamber. They only hear what they want to hear. That can be very dangerous. Whereas here is a man, the present Prime Minister of India, he also has all these hackathons with young kids and he listens. He said, tell me what you want. And fellows like me who are in our 70s, we're pretty much ignored. We get very upset. They don't listen to us. But our mindsets were formed many years ago. By 13, 14 years of age, you're pretty much set in your opinions and views and so on. So what we are trying to do now in the new education policy and et cetera, is address these young minds. I personally have reached out to at least, and I say this with great pride, 30 million, 3 crore young and not so young minds through various Rotary clubs and through Lions clubs and through schools and colleges and through my YouTube thing and through your channel, reached out to millions to tell them about the beauty, the incredible strength that India is now beginning to show. There was a time when our diplomacy was very different. We used to be very quiet. Yaar wo kya bolega usko mat satao. But now our diplomacy is, अरे झापड़ मारो उसको सीधा हो जाएगा.
Exactly.
So now we have an appetite for risk taking.
Mm.
We have an appetite for speaking out boldly.
Mm.
And whatever we say, people listen to us.
Listen.
Today, when India speaks, the world listens.
Wow, that is so true. That is very true. Deepak ji, assembly elections are around the corner.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to answer about Israel and
Israel and
Hamas.
Hamas,
Ukraine, I'm
yes.
telling you. Yes, yes, sorry. Now, Israel and Hamas, ma'am, on the day that this attack took place, the whole world was an Israeli. I was a Jew that day. You can't do this. You can't have a corpse at the back of your truck, a young lady, and you are violating the body and screaming Allahu Akbar. No, 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 no. No. It's not a fight between Israel and Hamas. It's a fight between the world and terrorism. Israel has a single goal, which is to eliminate Hamas. Now, people say they allowed it to come up. People also told us that we encouraged the liberation tigers of Tamil Eelam, etc. They were responsible, we are told, for the assassination of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. All kinds of things are told. That is the past. You can't let the past shackle the present. But what has now happened is that, assuming that they created, again, like in the case of that Ibrahim character in Pakistan, assuming that they created Hamas as a monster, now it's attacked them, it's hit them, and now it's time to kill the monster. I believe this war will not come to an immediate end because we are discovering these tunnels, etc. And they've been carrying on for 70, 80 days, which basically means that they were well prepared. They've been preparing for at least 2 or 3 years with support from Iran and from whoever. They got a lot of money, but instead of using that money for development, they were using it for armaments and so on. So I believe that this war will continue for some time. The Israeli Prime Minister has said, I've heard him speak, I'm very impressed with the man. He may have his domestic political issues, no, who doesn't? But nevertheless, today the whole country is united. Yeah, there are hostages. They were taken, some were released. After that, I don't think there are any more that are left alive because now initially the Israeli focus was to clobber Hamas, then it shifted to get the hostages released, so we had a ceasefire, and now it's come back to eliminate Hamas. The sooner they do this, the better it'll be. Although they, if I may say so, they may have some difficulty in killing too many Hamas fellows because the supply of virgins in heaven is heavily strained at the moment. So they have to let them live a little longer so that, by the, I mean, this is a joke which somebody sent me on the net. That's why not too many Hamas fellows are dying. But I believe this is a struggle, and even though we are in 2023, in 5 or 10 years, when someone looks back objectively and writes about this, they will say that Israel did the right thing. And if Israelis are watching this podcast, I'd just like to tell them in Hebrew, Pitzachon le Israel, Israel, victory to you. Go ahead, eliminate this curse.
Absolutely.
Just send them away. Thereafter, what happens? You haven't planned, you've planned, that is for you to decide. But we, having been at the receiving end of Islamic terrorism, we know how terrible,
Absolutely.
how terrible it is.
Yes, absolutely.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.